It's May in North Idaho, and it's the beginning of like the major sell-off season here for real estate. And one of the things that we get asked all the time as real estate agents is, where do I move to, or where do I buy a house that's in a good school district? I want to be near XYZ type of school, or my kids are a certain age and I want to be near certain schools. So we're going to break down for you guys how to find the best schools and what types of schools are available in North Idaho. Stay tuned. Thanks for joining us. We're your favorite North Idaho real estate agents, Lindsay, Allen,
Sammy Randazzo.
and before we get into this, we're gonna do the usual spiel. You guys gotta like, subscribe, turn on notifications. If you're enjoying this content, we put out our videos weekly, and we wanna make sure that you guys stay apprised of all the things great about living in North Idaho, and that way you can stay up to date. So let's go ahead and get into schools in North Idaho. And kind of what we're gonna talk about today is the choices of schools available here in North Idaho. So we've got public schools, we've got charter schools, private schools, higher education, and kind of alternative to traditional schooling like technical or trade school education. What we definitely overarching want you guys to know is that Kootenai County has plenty of school choice. I know that's kind of a hot topic nowadays around the nation, and so we kind of wanted to deliver some information on the school choice that we have up here in Kootenai County. Kootenai County in terms of public schools, so we've got the public schools, we've got the charter schools, private schools, we even have higher education, college education up here, and then we're also going to touch on a little bit of the alternative education, trade school education opportunities here in our community for kids. So first and foremost, public schools. Kootenai County has the Coeur d'Alene School District, we've got Post Falls School District, Lakeland School District, and the Kootenai Joint School District, which is down on the south end of the lake in the St. Mary's Harrison area. We have 27 elementary schools in all of these school districts. We've got 8 middle schools and 9 high schools. And of those 9 high schools, we have a couple of alternative high schools embedded in there. So as far as public schools are concerned, Sammy here grew up in North Idaho, and I know things are a little bit different than when you were in school, and it's grown a lot up here. But public school, you had a pretty good experience, right?
Yeah, I did. I was public school K through 12. Ramsey Raccoons.
Yes.
Now, which is a magnet school.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I had a great, I think, education for the most part. We had in high school opportunities for dual enrollment, which I think you'll kind of get into in a little bit.
Yeah.
But where you can basically take some college credits as well, along with your high school credits, bang out some of that before you graduate. But yeah, no, I mean, the schools were good.
So about public schools, one thing you can find if you Google any of these, you can Google Coeur d'Alene public schools in North Idaho. There are a ton of websites out there, not just the school district websites themselves, but a ton of websites out there that actually rank the schools, rank the school districts, and give you a lot more information on kind of what you might want to know, especially if you're trying to choose or really get into a specific school or a specific like a STEM school, for example. We'll get into that. But a lot of these websites will rank a lot of these schools in terms of class size and graduation rates and all sorts of things. So highly recommend, if you're looking for something particular, Googling a couple of different variations of schools in North Idaho, public school rankings, etc. You're gonna find a lot of information. We won't go into all of that right now, but tons of information out there to help drive you into certain school districts or certain neighborhoods so that you can attend certain schools. because that's something that I think people ask about a lot is, I want to be near a good school, or what do you know about the schools? And so in terms of public schools, lots of information out there. Again, tons of elementary schools, a lot of choice on middle schools and high schools as well. So the next thing that we're going to mention is our charter schools. So charter schools are a free public school essentially, but they are geared towards smaller class sizes, and they kind of have a different style of teaching, and it's mostly for college prep. So if you've got a student who is, really into, college academics, or, I want to get into a certain college, especially, some of these Ivy League schools are really competitive colleges. These charter schools could be a great option. The only downside, I think, to the charter school scenario is that they're kind of hard to get into.
Yeah.
There's a long list of people that are trying to get their kids in, and because they cap the classroom sizes to keep it small and intimate, they're, they leave some people out. Not everyone can get in, but they're free, which is great. I think we hear all the time about Coeur d'Alene Charter Academy.
Right.
And you've probably known some people that go to charter, and they're grades 6 through 12. So a lot of times people will attend elementary school together, and someone will peel off and go to charter academy. I think they have some sports there and stuff too.
Charter always kind of joined in with one of the other public elementary. So when I ran cross country or track, we had some charter students that would come over and basically participate in their sports via our schools.
Gotcha.
So they didn't have their own teams, but they were still allowed, obviously, to participate just with the different neighboring schools.
That's good to know. So good to know.
At least that was 12 years ago. I don't know what they're doing now. Maybe there's
They probably do the same thing.
But I would assume kind of the same path with that.
Gotcha. So if you have a student athlete, but also someone who's really gearing towards a competitive school, a charter school here around town might be one of the better options. Again, Googling charter schools in North Idaho will give you all the information that you can find. We have 3 brick and mortar charter schools here in town, and then 2 online schools, 2 online charter schools here in North Idaho. So you've got a handful of options for those avenues of education. Next thing to touch on is private schools. I was kind of surprised, we were talking about this earlier, there are 21 different private schools listed in North Idaho.
I had no idea we had that many.
I know. I was like, what? I can only name 3 or 4 of them. But when they talk about private school education, this also goes into preschool as well, and kindergarten. So it's essentially preschool through graduation. The majority, 80% or more, I believe, of the private schools here in town have some sort of religious affinity or affiliation. Typically the Catholic and Christian schools. I believe there might be a couple others out there that are maybe what we could say a bit more agnostic, but they almost always have some sort of religious affiliation to these schools. So you've got 21 choices of schools between preschool, elementary school, and middle and high school to choose from around town. Now these obviously you have to apply, and they do require tuition. So that's what sets obviously the private school apart from public and charter. But it is a choice, so we do have that option available up here. The next thing that we want to touch on is the higher education. One thing that I think is great about our community is we've got that North Idaho College campus. And Sammy went to North Idaho College, and like we mentioned earlier, this dual enrollment scenario, explain that.
Yeah, dual enrollment is a cool, almost like a jumpstart program. So 11th and 12th grade high school students are able to enroll in the college at 50% tuition. So you're not only kind of busting out some of your prerequisites for your undergraduate, you're getting them at a discounted rate, but still in a normal college classroom setting. So I did all of my science, all of my English, all my math my last 2 years, my junior, senior year. So when I graduated high school, I also had a year of college done. So
Yes.
with over 2 years, I essentially finished 1 year of college. And again, at a discounted rate. So it was a little bit, kinder to your bank account, and, a little bit, and it's a different learning experience. You're a little bit more self-sufficient and kind of being taught that more responsible learning, I guess you could say, where you actually have to
self-directed learning.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, dual enrollment is a great program. You can go kind of as little or as much as you want. I knew a couple of people from my class that did essentially all of their classes at NIC, and graduated high school with a 2-year degree. So there's kind of a couple different levels of commitment, I guess, if you want to call it that. But yeah, it's a great program. I know they still do it. I would definitely do it again. It was a good kind of jump start to save some time, I guess.
Yeah. So if you've got a student in that high school age, and this is available at all the high schools, it doesn't matter what school district you're in, you can dual enroll at Lake City High School or Coeur d'Alene or Lakeland, and then also take classes at North Idaho College, or NIC is what we call it. So if you've got a student who is more academically inclined or very, college bound and wants to, kind of get, like Sammy said, jumpstart the dual enrollment option through NIC and through the high schools around here is an amazing option. But definitely, like you said, probably more suited for the student who is a bit more responsible and has a bit more self-direction, resourcefulness, because it does take you out of the classroom and it does require you to be accountable to a different entity, not just your high school.
I know, sorry, just one little quick thing with that as well. I know a lot of people kind of chose that route because when they were done with high school, they didn't have to take a full college class load. So they were still able to work like part-time and still kind of stay on track to graduate with so for instance, I had a year done, and when I graduated high school, I was able to still work and within that 2-year get a degree and not kind of have to push that out, if that makes sense. So you essentially just jumpstart some of your credit so that you can have a little bit more of almost like a work-life balance where you can still be able to support yourself with a job and not have being a student be kind of your full-time job. Because a lot of people around here don't really have, I guess it's a luxury to only go to school, right? So, being able to kind of bang some of that out in high school allows, I think, young adults to be able to still pursue that higher education.
Oh my God, you guys. I don't know why my phone is sitting right here.
Dying.
Okay, anyways, do we include that in the video?
I think we should.
Okay, sorry for that,
life
Sammy.
Happens, right? So that you can be the successful person and have calls during your videos, right? She got ahead.
Just kidding. Exactly.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. Well, dual enrollment.
That's all I had to say.
Yes, dual enrollment is an amazing opportunity. I grew up in Boise, and I will tell you that when I was going to school, we had AP classes. I'm a little older than Sammy, but we had AP classes, and that was about it in terms of college prep or, getting some sort of advantage going into your early years of college. So I know that I wish that we would have had this opportunity, maybe through BSU or U of I or something like that down in Boise, and they may have that now down in Boise, but when I was in school, they did not have that opportunity. If I could have gone into, my freshman year of college and already had a year of credits under my belt, and it would took me 3 years to graduate versus 4.5, that would have been awesome. So really great opportunity for students up here who are motivated and driven. So the other thing I want to mention in terms of higher education is on that North Idaho campus, which, by the way, is one of the most beautiful college campuses I think you could imagine. It's on the shores of the Spokane River and the north side of Lake Coeur d'Alene. I wish that I would have gone to college there. It's just beautiful, and you're right on the beach. There's no cooler setting for a college student than North Idaho College campus. So the other thing available up here are a bunch of satellite campuses for other really great colleges around the state. So we've got the University of Idaho satellite campus up here, the Boise State University College campus, Lewis and Clark State College, which is out of the Lewiston area and Clarkston area, just a few hours south, and then Idaho State University as well, which is out of the Pocatello area. And each of these colleges kind of have their specialties, you know, whether it's engineering or nursing or education. Now, if you're a student who lives up in North Idaho and maybe you're working as well, or maybe you started a family early or something like that and you can't really leave the area, you still have the opportunity to get a world-class college education here in town, which is amazing. So definitely want to highlight higher education in terms of options up here. Now, the one last thing I kind of want to touch on, which I think is probably one of my favorite evolutions of the education system in our country at this moment, is the alternative schools. I think something that's come up in research over the years is that not every student learns the same way. Not every student is an academic. They don't, you know, they don't like reading chapters and chapters of books, and maybe they have test-taking anxiety, and maybe they don't perform well in a traditional school setting. And so something that's emerged and that I love that our community has kind of embraced is these kind of alternative forms of education. So in terms of elementary school, we have a school that was developed a few years ago, and they just built a new brick and mortar on the north side of Coeur d'Alene, but it's the North Idaho Learning Expedition Academy, and it's called NEX, I think, North Idaho Expedition Academy, and it's much more of a project-based, you know, teamwork, field trips, immersion, hands-on type of education, and less like books, reading, testing, less of your traditional, more of this new kind of alternative to, you know, maybe not all our kids have to learn the same way. So it's been a really cool addition to our community in terms of the elementary age education. And then once we get a little bit older, for junior and senior level high school students, we have a KTEC. It's a Kootenai Technical Education Center. KTEC is located in Rathdrum, and they offer, I've toured this place and it's amazing. They have nursing programs where kids can graduate high school with a CNA. They have construction programs. They have coding and graphic design programs. So a lot of these things where it's more, you know, less academic and more maybe your street smarts and more of your hands-on project-based stuff. They've got a program for high schoolers available in Rathdrum, where they can, you know, do some of their classes in high school, and then for the rest of the day they go and take these other technical classes that really get them ready to enter into more of a trade, versus your traditional college four-year degree. And that's something else that we're seeing so much in our area is this emphasis or this desire to try and address lacking trades, you know, plumbers, electricians, construction, all of these things that we need desperately in our area. We're trying to get the kids into these things at an earlier age. So I love KTEC. I think it's an awesome program. And then you can graduate from KTEC and get into the school next door, which is Parker Technical Institute, and that's more of like a college level course, or, you know, once you've graduated high school, a lot of different programs that Parker Technical Institute offers in terms of trades. So great options for maybe the non-traditional students here. And then the other thing I want to touch on, last but certainly not least, is some of the like magnet and STEM schools. This is also, in terms of school choice, I think something that certain parents have really gravitated towards. We have a couple of different elementary schools and middle schools around town that they call magnet schools. Ramsey raccoons.
Yeah, the Ramsey. I think they're the science.
Yes.
Yeah, science
Yes.
magnet. Sorensen
Is more like
liberal
liberal arts.
yeah, like liberal arts.
Yeah.
I think are those the only two elementary school
I think they're
magnets?
yes, I think the only two elementary
Okay,
school.
yeah.
But like at that young age, if you've got a student who is more geared towards, you know, the theater and the arts and things
Yeah.
like that, you know, Sorensen really, they really cater to that. Or if it's more the science and the technology, Ramsey is a great school for that. And they focus their curriculum on these types of things. And then there is an amazing STEM charter in Rathdrum that I know everybody raves about. So if STEM is a thing for your kids, especially elementary school age kids, and you want to get them into that early, we've got some options there as well. So hopefully that gave you guys a kind of a good rundown on school choice here in North Idaho. And again, like we said, we get asked this all the time from people who are moving here. If you guys have any questions, please don't forget you can call, you can text, you can email us at the information below, and we will get you all the information that you need. Again, Google is an amazing resource for all of this stuff too, in terms of the rankings and more information and links to schools. So make sure to hop on the internet, check it out, call, text, email us. We'll be happy to help you. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully there was some good information here for you, and Sammy and I will see you next time.